So Sumit, you can go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First of all, welcome everyone. So today we are going to have the demo session for Python. So I'll start with the importance of the Python. I mean, why it is so important and what are the questions, queries in everybody's mind when we talk about the Python. So everybody knows we are talking about the Python from number of years that this is quite important. This is the future. So everybody knows, but are we actually putting the efforts to learn the Python? Because sometimes we have this thing in our mind that, okay, this is something related to programming. So programmers should be doing all this. But in fact, I would say if the network person who is having knowledge about the routing, switching, firewall, or like different technologies, they can do wonders if you know the Python. So if somebody from the programming background, they try to achieve some task using the Python for network, they face a lot of challenges. I have seen that as per my experience. But if somebody who is having the network background and they learn the Python and they start implementing the ideas, they do the innovation in the project, they do wonders. They can present a lot of things to the customer, to the leadership that, okay, these are the add-ons, what we can do using the Python. So networking background and plus Python, it can do a lot. So basically what is happening when you know the Python, you are learning new mode of communication. And when I say new mode of communication, it means there are a lot of things which can be done. It is not specific to any one particular technology, routing, switching, firewall, server, or something else. The point is, if you know the Python, if you know the new mode of communication, like how it communicates, how it works, what I can do, the destination device where you want to take the action, it can be anything. So this is not targeting one particular technology. You don't need any prerequisite. If you know the Python, if you know this new mode of communication, if you know the basics, you can do the required changes or you can run the required commands. You can do a lot of tasks on different destination devices. And when I say different network devices, it can be in your data center, which you might be managing in your respective organization, or the destination devices can be hosted in the cloud also. Things are pretty dynamic. I mean, a lot of technologies are running in the data center, and there are a lot of technologies which have been migrated from the data center to the cloud. So if you have the Python, I mean, if you have this kind of information, background, you can utilize this in n number of ways. The setup can be of any type. It can be a data center, it can be in the cloud. The destination device can be anything. It can be routers, switches, firewall, servers, VMs. It can be any destination device. The point is, whatever you want to achieve, you can achieve by using this new mode of communication. I focus a lot on this particular keyword that this is a new mode of communication. Reason being, you are learning a new language. If you learn a new language, you can utilize it in a number of ways. Lot of things can be done very efficiently, very quickly. You can present yourself very well in your project to the leadership, to the customer that, okay, this is the innovation I was thinking of, and this is how I'm going to achieve this. You can talk about the output. Okay, this is the add-on which will be given to the project, which can be easily represented to the customer also. And if I talk about what kind of task can be done, I mean, there can be a number of, but I can talk about few things. Let's say we have to prepare the inventory. Just for example, let's say we are managing some 5,000 devices. And now we are doing the consolidation of the inventory that, okay, how many 6500 switches we have, how many 3850 we have, how many Nexus 7K, 9K we have. So if you log in into all the devices, let's say you are going to log in into 5,000 devices and then find out the OS and the devices, the hardware model. Obviously, this is going to take a lot of time, lot of efforts. Reason being, this is all manual thing, whatever you are doing. But if you utilize the Python for these kind of tasks, which can be very time consuming, it can be done in, I would say, no time. You need to prepare a script that, okay, on these many devices, this particular command need to be run, and this is the output what I need. So this is just a simple, I mean, the very simple example that, okay, for inventory consolidation, it can be done within no time. You just need to prepare the right script. This is one example. Apart from this, let's say if I have to find out that, okay, I am managing these many routers, these many edge devices. So in my environment where NAT is happening, network address translation is happening. Requirement can be anything. So I can run the command on all the devices where the communication is happening, and I can get the output. I can understand that, okay, on these are the devices out of 5,000 devices where NAT is happening. Once you get the information, you can utilize this again as per your requirement in your respective organization. This is another example. One more example. Let's say you have to do the upgradation on multiple devices. For security team, for example, you are managing Palo Alto, Cisco ASA, Checkpoint, and you are planning to do the OS upgrade on different devices at one particular time, or like at different time intervals. You can prepare a script. You can do these kind of things that, okay, at, for example, at 3 a.m. CST, that, okay, OS upgrade should happen on these many devices. And after upgrade, this output should be captured. A required command should run, and it should go into particular file, which can be validated later. This is again one more example. I'm giving you example where time can be easily minimized. A lot of actions can be done. Your ideas can be implemented. Innovation can be done apart from your day-to-day work. So the bottom line is this is going to give you an absolute free hand to implement anything, which can be the customer requirement sometimes, or it can be an add-on for your project. If you have any idea, it can be implemented using the Python. It is a free hand given to you. So again, learn this new mode of communication and do the wonders in your project. If you are planning to move your career in this particular direction, like to be a dedicated person for programming or for Python for automation, this is the time. So utilize this opportunity. Have a lot of questions in your mind, which is absolutely fine. In fact, it should be there. And grab all the things, whatever we are going to discuss today. All right, so all the best to everybody, and then we can start the session. Yes, Karan, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. DP, you can start now. Thank you so much. You can just start now with the demo, and we can take Q&A at the last.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for explaining why Python is important. Hi all, very good evening, good morning. This is Dheeraj, which is your Python trainer. I welcome you all for the Skill Inspirations Academy for Python network automation class. So as Sumit said that yes, Python is very important for network engineers, and without wasting time, let's move ahead that why it is important, what is the technicality that right nowadays that many of the organizations want Python in their project, right? So I just wanted to clear two things first. That few of us, or let's say few of network engineers could compare themselves. Okay, I'm a network engineer. I wanted to jump to the automation. So what the prerequisites that I wanted to have? So before jumping to that thing, that thought, I just want to clear one thing. What is the difference between that are Python developer, the core Python developer, and what is the difference between the network developer, or we can say network Python automation developer, right? That we, after this course, you're gonna perform the automation in a project. So you'll be network developer. So guys, what network developer do? What Python developer do? Python developer will create 100 or 1,000 lines of code in their project, right? So let's consider that Python, as a Python developer, I have created almost 100 lines of code, and I have created that code. I have put that code in the package. In the package in the sense is a module, right? So this is the work of Python developer. Then being a network developer, what we need to do, we just need to use this existing packages which is already created by Python developer to our network, to automate our network devices. So what we will do, let's say this package name is A. So we are using this A to automate our network equipment. It could be anything. It could be like switch, it could be router, it could be Nexus switch, ASR, ASR router, or let's say Palo Alto firewalls or ASA firewalls, anything. So this is the major or key difference in between Python developer and the network developer. Now let's move ahead. Now, second, why that right now, that what are the different tasks that we can automate? So few of the tasks I believe that Sumit has explained. Few more I'll gonna explain to you. Let's consider that you have to take the backup, because I was working in a data center. So at that time, I got the project from, or I got a request from my client that I want to backup the running history of all the devices that I have. And as we all know, in the data center, there could be thousands of devices. So guys, it will take a time to take the backup of that device. So what I can say, what are the general steps for taking the backup manually? We all know, connect to that device, go to that device. After connecting to that device, hit show run, and then save that into the file, and then rename it according to date and time, and whatever format, whichever format that you want. But via Python, it will be easiest task. So let's consider that for the one device, it could be like 10 minutes. Or let's say if the person is too smart, then we'll consider 7 minutes as an average time, right? So like 10 minutes, if we consider 10 minutes for one device, it could be thousands of devices, right? Thousands or hundreds of devices. So almost it will gonna take 17 or 18 or 20 plus hours to take the backup of 100 devices, right? So this is a waste of time, guys. What we could do is we could automate that script to get the backup of those 100 devices, and we will get it. Believe me, you will get that script, the result of that in 3 to 4 minutes only, not more than that, hardly. And why why our script will gonna take 3 to 4 minutes? It's because it could be possible, in the worst case, it could be possible that it could take the time to connect to that device via SSH, right? So this is the time that we will gonna require to take the backup of 100 devices. So let's move ahead now. Now, this is something about me, guys. I have total 8+ years of experience in network domain, and since 6 plus years, I'm performing network automation. I'm working as a network developer, Python network automation developer, and I have certified with PCP, CCNA, Automation Anywhere, which is RPA platform, AWS, and recently I have certified in Cyber Warriors community, as well as I'm pursuing my Cisco DevNet. And since last 2-3 years, I'm giving training for a network automation. Let's move ahead. Okay. Now, what is network automation? So we know that, okay, for jumping into the network automation, we need to learn Python. Then we don't know, let's say if we don't know programming, can we do network automation? Or let's say if we just know the basic things of network, can we jump into the network automation? That doubt I'll clear for you now here. So let's consider, guys, being a network automation specialist, right? You just need to understand 2-3 things. First thing is what thing that you can manage in the network automation, right? So first thing is, why we use network automation? We can use network automation for configuration purpose, for configuring the devices, right? So this is the key point, that when or where we can use the network automation stuff. Second, that we can use network automation for monitoring as well, right? So if you want to monitor something, let's consider that you need to monitor a device which is your data center device where two BGP links are connected, right? See, primary or secondary, and which is too important for you as it's a data center device. So continuously we have our monitoring tool with us, and we are paying a huge cost to them to monitor our devices. But guys, Python is a free platform. Why should we invest money uh, into the our monitoring systems, right? Let's take an example of solar wind. Most of the organization are paying the huge cost to the monitoring tools just like SolarWind. So we can do monitoring by Python only. Now, third is managing the different devices. Then managing the different devices in the sense, what devices that I'm talking about? I'm talking about entire devices which supports or which can be accessible by SSH, as well as which we can access any device that you can able to connect to. If you're able to connect to that device, it means you can automate that device. This is the simple and basic thing to automate any device. So if you have a question like which devices that I can automate, you can automate any device. The prerequisite of you is if you're able to access that device. In the simple term, in the layman term, I can say if you're able to ping that device, it means that you can automate that device. That is a basic prerequisite for automation, network automation specifically. Now, fourth and final is testing, right? What is testing? So testing is like what I can say, for to reduce the vulnerability of our devices. So we all know that in the network domain, we always need to check with what is the latest version of this iOS switch, right? Let's say if we need to upgrade my switches, I got a requirement from my client that let's check the vulnerability of all the devices that we have, and then if it is in the lower version, let's upgrade it. So at that time, we can use our script to fetch all the latest version or all the versions of our devices. We will get it in any of the format. You can get that version from in the Excel file as well, in the text file as well. Even though you can upgrade the iOS device, sorry, you can upgrade any of the network device with the help of Python, right? So pushing the image, copying the image, that is a time consuming stuff that you can automate that, and that is in this way you can reduce your time. And the basic and the key function of network automation is reusability. So what is my reusability? Let's consider that right now, today, you got a requirement from your client and to take the backup of the devices, right? In this one, let's say after 6 months as well, you got the same requirement. So are you going to develop the same code again? No, you have already created that code long back. You just need to rerun that script. That is my reusability of the code. So it will save your time, as well as you'll get a better opportunity ahead to develop something into that existing code, right? So few of the logic that you could think that, okay, this logic that I have used for, I can use the same logic in my another code as well. So this is meant by reusability of the things. So I hope that I am clear that what is Python, what is network automation is about. Let's move ahead. And this is a key example, guys. So this is a common example. Let's consider this is the switch. And in this switch, we have an interface, which is in that interface, we are getting high input errors. So we all know that what are the issues that we're gonna get if there are input errors. So there could be latency to the customers, right? So few of the advantage and few of the disadvantages of not using Python that I'm gonna tell you in this scenario. So let's consider that here I have a link, which in that interface I'm getting input errors at this, right? So what the general Python general network engineer will do, he will gonna log into the switch, he'll gonna check, okay, these are the input errors. So usually he will shut it down the interface, so the connection will be in the primary, the connection will go via secondary device by setting primary. So this could also resolve the issue, and then afterwards what we can do, we can shut down and we can play with that interface. But we have for checking the input errors, we need a time, because there could not be only one switch, or we could know if we don't know this the switch on which interface that we are getting input errors, then it will gonna time it will be a time taking task, and we could get the P1 or P2 for the same purpose. So now let's move ahead with the advantages of using Python, that if we automate this task, then what are the advantages that we're gonna get? First and foremost thing is the latency that you were getting into that interface due to this input error will gonna reduce. Why? Because what we will gonna do is we will automate this particular interface with the help of Python. It means that we will write a script that if, see, this is the condition, guys. If the error counters too high, right? So we will we can also set the limit. If there are if the error counters or input errors could be up to this limit, then that is fine. But if it is above that, then what I want to do, I want to shut down that interface. So what will be the advantage? If we shut down the interface, automatically the connection will go to the secondary device, and there will be no P1 or P2 calls. So that is a one more advantage that we can use if you automate that particular task. We will also not get the interface drops and all, obviously, because if so troubleshooting task, the simple network engineers can do, guys, right? But for jumping or for deciding which interface should be troubleshoot, we are going to use Python, right? So that is the major advantage of using Python network automation in our network journey. Now, second thing is, let's consider the same example, guys. What I need to do is, let's consider I have 6 switch, right? So in the 6 switch, I just need to add the VLAN. I need to create the VLAN, right? So jumping on the creating VLAN and then interface details, or writing IPs into giving IPs to the interface, it's a pretty simple task. For one device, it's pretty simple. Someone who has the experience of, let's say, almost 13 or 14 years, he could do, okay, this is like simple task for me, right? But this is only for one device. Let's consider that if you have more than 500 devices, then here it's only 6 devices. So at least if we consider the experienced person, at least he's gonna take 2 to 3 minutes to put this IP addresses and VLAN into that interface. Let's consider there are 500 devices, right? So task will increase, and that accordingly time will get increased. So what we can do is, and we can automate this particular stuff, or we can say this particular code, whatever code that we need to push according to the IP change as well, into the 500 devices within 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, right? So see, we can configure that interfaces with the help of IP addresses, whatever IP address that you want to add, whatever VLAN that you need to create, everything, every configuration thing that you want to do, you can do with the help of Python. On the other hand, if we are doing the configuration manually, so there is a risk of human error, guys. Obviously, we all are humans, and we could make a mistake, because for configuration of 500 devices will get a hectic task for a person, and at that time, if anyone has missed anything, then it will be an error in our network, right? So if we write a script, then there is a no chance of human error. What you need to do is, you just need to pre-check your code once. If your code is good, it's fine, it's working fine, then there is, I'll assure you that you will not face human error in the future, right? So this is what that we can reduce. Let's move ahead with another simplest example. Okay, this is very like relatable example for network engineers. Let's consider that this is the user that which is facing issues, right? Let's say link is down for this user. So at that time, what is our usual process? What we do? We just log into this switch. What is the nearest switch? We used to take the IPs of this user. If it is not, we used to take the MAC address. And with the help of MAC address, we used to find where this customer or where this user has been connected to this switch, and then we will troubleshoot. So let's consider that I have logged into the switch. I have taken a MAC from the user. I'm searching via CDP neighbors which of the device is connected to my particular user. Then again, what I did is I went to this switch, right? So I into the switch, if I again hit what is my CDP neighbor, which is all ports are fine or not, then what I did is finally I got my switch that where the user has been connected, and then I got to know, okay, it's connected to port number 15 and it has been down, or then we can troubleshoot, right, as per the network automation. So being a network engineer, I know that this is pretty simple task and I will do it, but for taking whatever the time that it is required to locate this user, it's a waste of time for network engineers. What if that I'll tell you what you can do is you ask Python, run your script, right? So what Python script will do, your Python script will send to each and every device that you have, and you will get a report that, okay, in this switches, whatever the IP range that you have given, this port is down, and accordingly you can troubleshoot. So it is a basically save your time to troubleshoot. And obviously if it is save your time, we're gonna work on more tickets, and the productivity will get increase in our day-to-day work. So this is all about how we can automate the network task, how we can play with the network devices and all. So let's say what Cisco says about network automation. As we all know, Cisco is like most of the organization are using Cisco devices, and yes, we can automate every Cisco devices, that is for sure. And let's consider that what Cisco says about network automation. So Cisco is saying that this slide is from Cisco only. So Cisco is saying that 95% of network changes today are done manually. So obviously, if we consider that 95% of the organization, they are pushing the changes manually only. We all were doing the changes manually in the morning, like in the Saturday, Sundays, it could be busiest task to push the changes, to do the changes, to upgrade the devices and all, right? So this is what we can do with the help of automation. So we can ignore, or we can say we can reduce the manual work, whatever the day-to-day activity that we are going to perform in our organization. Now, manual changes leads to the configuration errors and inconsistency in the network. Obviously, if we are going to change something, it could be just like we have seen the example of human errors. So if you're pushing something, that is a 98, what I can say, it could be, let's consider the 0.22% chances as well to make a mistake. Then why should we take a risk for human errors, right? So that thing we can reduce while performing automation task in an organization. Now, expanding network changes at a scale can be problematic. Obviously, let's consider the example. You have two switches, let's say 4 switches, right? You need to upgrade 4 switches, and this could be, let's say this could be of 2.3 let's say through 3.75 model, right? So, and this let's take this of another model. Now, if we consider that, guys, in the early morning, rather than pushing image to this model, one of the network engineer by mistake has pushed the image into this model, then it's a human error, right? So it could be possible. So expanding our network changes, that is the main thing. It could be problematic in future, and hence we are focusing towards our network automation journey. And same thing that we have explained in the previous slides, that network downtime and non-remote troubleshooting time could be detrimental. It means that we could reduce the timing that we're gonna take for troubleshooting. Let's say if you got the P1 call today, we all know that in the P1 call, we need to explain, or we need to jump, or we need to start troubleshoot and giving the update within 15 minutes only. So if you have only 15 minutes, you can reduce that time, and you can for sure you can give whatever the result that you have fetched with your code to the client on P1 call. So that's all about this all theoretical part, why network automation is important and all. Quickly I'll just go through that, why, who developed Python, and then we'll move towards our journey of Python. So guys, Python has been developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991. So in 1999 it has been open for all the users. So you can now compare that Python has been developed in 1991 and we all are learning Python in 2022. Nowadays, Python is hotcake in the market. Every network engineer should learn Python. That is a key concept. Why? Because I'll tell you. First thing, every organization is looking for the person who is Python developer, right? But they are also looking for the person who knows network as well as Python. So believe me, guys, there are very few people in the market, they knows both the things, Python as well as network automation. I know that you are smart with network things. You know firewall well, you know all the network devices well. So why should I invest money to hire a Python developer? What I'll do, I'll train my network engineer to perform the same task, right? So that is the golden opportunity for you guys to learn Python and jumping to the automation jumping to the automation stuff. So my basic concept is, if you heard something like okay, nowadays Google has started the Python, nowadays YouTube has started the Python, yes, and that is the main concept, or that is the main reason that Python is hot cake in the market, or everyone is looking for Python developer, including freshers. So those who are freshers as well, they are also eager to learn Python nowadays, because these are the organizations. Let's say Google has first started to use Python in the backend code. Recently Instagram has also moved to the Python, right? The backend course of the Instagram is now moving to the is now shifted to the Python, I can say, right? And that is the main opportunities has been come from these organizations. So let's move ahead with advantages of Python, that why the Python is more in what I can say, why the Python is more important, or why Python only, why not other programming language? We have heard about C, we have heard about C++, we have heard about Java, right? But why Python? So guys, there are few more advantages, or few different advantages of Python. So first and foremost advantage is Python is very easy to learn as compared to the other language. I have a difference in between Java and Python in the next slide. So we will see that difference, that why it is easy to learn. Now it is easy to begin with simple scripts. Obviously, for writing a single line in Java, we have to write 8 lines of code. But in Python, believe me, you just need to write only 1 line code, right? Now, second is the libraries that I'm talking about. So what are the libraries? In the first slide I have explained, the libraries are those which has been developed by Python developers, right? This is just like the App Store or Google Play Store that we have in our Android and iPhones. So the same thing, the library has been developed by Python developer. We as a network developer, we just need to use that applications, or I can say as an application, I'll say libraries, right? Then read Excel, output PDF, draw graph, etc. So that is the simplest thing. With the help of Python, it's very compatible with that. So let's say you got a requirement from your client that you want the data into Excel format. You just need to create a graph chart of entire report that you have. We all know that taking or playing that with the graph chart with Python and all in the Excel file, it will be hectic task for you. So Python will do that for you. There is only one library that you need to import, and whatever data that you have in the Excel file, automatically the graph will create for you. So that is the advantages of Python. So this is the difference that I was talking about, that why only Python, why not Java and other programming languages? See guys, I just need to print hello world. So it's hello world, that's fine. Let's say I just need to print this only single thing, hello world. So for that I need to write 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 lines, right? Almost 7 lines I need to write. But in Python I just need to write only 1 line, right? Only 1 line for 1 word. That is the reason that Python is fast fastest language than Java. It's faster than Java, as well as it is it it. We'll consider in the we'll consider the difference as well in the main class in our first live batch class. In that you can compare that why Python is very important and why the Python is faster than the other programming languages. This is just an example, right? And that is the reason that why we need Python as a network engineer, because we need output in a very few seconds only. So hence we have choose the Python for network automation. So I hope that it's clear for you now until this part. So quickly I'll move towards our networking things now. Network and Python things both. So guys, in Python there are two versions. The first is 2.0 and second is 3.0. So 3.0 is the latest version, guys. So I would recommend each and everyone to use 3.0 only, but there are a few requirements for that 2.0. If you are not able to install the 2.0, that is 3.0, that is also fine. We have separate things for that as well. So in our class, what we're gonna use is we're gonna use Python 3.0, which is the latest one, and other IDE. So what is my IDE? So it's an integrated development environment, guys. So what is that? It means that if we need to run our Python script, we need some application, right? If you heard about Notepad++, right? If you heard about anything, let's say any IDE which will compatible with Python that we're gonna use. So I'll tell you the list in our class. What are the latest thing that we're gonna use? So first and foremost, we're gonna use Python 3, which is the latest one. Second, we have the IDE, that Notepad++. We have Visual Studio, right? We have PyCharm and many more. So in our class, we're going to use PyCharm as an IDE because it's very compatible with Python. And third and final thing is we need a network lab, right? We need a network connectivity as well. So we will going to use both the things, VNG, and we're going to use GNS3 as well for some of the practical. If you are comfortable with GNS3, that is fine. If you're compatible with EVNG, that is also fine. Both the things are fine with me, and I'll tell you both the we'll perform both practicals on both the EVNG and GNS3 as well. Okay, now the final thing is lab, right? So this is the lab, guys. This is just a screenshot. We're gonna play with the lab now, how to automate the stuff. I'll gonna tell you that. First of all, there are 4 or 5 libraries. What is libraries? That which has been developed by Python developers. So here in our class, when I'll show the syllabus of our class, at that time I'll tell you that what are the libraries we're gonna automate. So quickly I'll just tell you that 4 libraries. First library is, guys, name as telnet lib. The first library we're gonna see to automate our network devices is telnet lib. Second library is named as netmiko. Third is paramiko, right? And fourth is napam, right? So these are 4 very important library, guys, to automate your network devices, and we're gonna see all 4 of them with 15 to 16 lab in each one of library, right? So you will please make sure that if you're going to use that library, obviously if you're going to use or if you're going to play with almost 15 or 16 lab, you'll get most you'll automate most of the devices and you'll get more hands-on on this, right? So here in our demo session, I'm going to use netmiko only, and why netmiko and all we're going to see in our main class, why we have choose netmiko only. Now let's move ahead and check or go with our network syllabus. Give me a quick thing and then we'll move towards after discussing the syllabus, we'll move towards live lab, guys. So let's discuss the syllabus. So guys, this is the modules that we're gonna give. There are 4 modules, guys. So first module include the basic Python, right? I can say Python from the scratch, because being a network engineer, I can understand that we don't know Python, right? And if you know Python, you need to study Python from the basics, right? So if you learn Python from the basic, believe me, you'll not get any issues in future to automate complex task as well. So let's quickly, I'll zoom out this syllabus for you guys. So the first session is our overview of Python, why Python is important, and how to set up the lab, what are the different IDs, how to set up the IDs and all. Then installation, that we're gonna cover in the first session only, that Python installation, PyCharm installation, GNS3 and EVNG installation, and what are the different modules that we're gonna need in our Python domain. Now, fundamentals, then what are the data types in Python, what is variable, how we can save the data into the variable, what are the different types of that we're gonna see. These are the different types of that variable, numbers, strings, right? Then operator, it's a very key concept that if you, let's say, if you need to play with two different datas, you will gonna use the operators. Then modules of the function in Python, what are the modules, what is function, what is the scope of that variable. It's very, I can say, guys, see, this is a very key concept. If you ever go to a Python developer interview as well, they're gonna ask the same thing to you. What is function, how to write a program of this things, what is operators. So this is the scratch point that we are giving over here, because we believe if you know Python from the scratch, then you can automate the stuff. That is the key concept. What is the list, what is tuple, what are the different type of dictionaries, how we can fetch the values, access the values, delete the values from the dictionary, and any list, tuple, and more things. So in this point, I can understand you could get, okay, this is the syllabus, what is this and what is all, but believe me, in our class, I'm gonna take that responsibility that if you learn this, module 2, module 3, and module 4 will be cup of tea task for you guys. So these are all up to this point. This is all the basic Python things. Now our final word is API. What are APIs? How to call APIs? From here we are focusing on Palo Alto, because Palo Alto is a firewall which supports API. That is the main concept that we are using, the Palo Alto firewall, right? And I believe that is the latest one, that if you know how to automate Palo Alto, it means it will gonna add on for your career growth as well. So we're gonna learn what are the different type of APIs, what are RESTful APIs, right? How to send a request to the Palo Alto, how to fetch the data from the Palo Alto and all. So module 2 includes pure network automation stuff, guys. So in the module 2, we are, as I told you, there are 4 libraries which is most important. So see, in the telnet, the first library is telnet lib. In that telnet lib, we're gonna see almost 13 labs, and this is the key concept of our class, guys. Advanced lab. So this advanced lab is a trickiest lab. That is we can say a task that we're gonna build from the scratch, right? So if after doing this 12 lab, we're gonna also work for advanced lab as well. It's like a mini project of each and every library that we have. So in Paramiko, we have 11 lab and 2 advanced lab. In Netmiko as well, we have almost 11 labs. And Napam, it's a latest library, guys. Paramiko, Netmiko, and Telnetlib has already been developed, and Napam is the latest library that we're gonna use in our network automation. Then there are 2 major concepts in the network automation, named as multi-threading. And believe me, whatever interviews that you're gonna face, there should be one question: what is multi-threading for network automation? So that is the main concept that we have added the labs for multi-threading as well. So we'll discuss what is multi-threading and all in a live class. So just to give an idea that if you use multi-threading at a time, you can automate more than 5,000 devices at a single time. At a single time, you can send more than 2,000 rules on the firewall only within a second, not more than that. Within a second, you can push the 2,000 rules on the firewall, as well as you can push any OSPF or BGP configuration on any of the devices. Then foremost thing is Excel handling. So obviously, if you wanna play with Excel stuff, we have a specific module for it. Let's say pushing the data, getting the backup of that data into the Excel file, pop-upping the data, or let's say catching the data and sending that data into the network devices, that we're gonna see what are pandas, what are the modules of that we're gonna use for our Excel handling module. Now third, module number 3 is related to ASA, guys, ASA firewall. So we're gonna see that how we can automate that ASA, and we have 6 lab for ASA firewalls. And the last is module 4, which is Palo Alto. So in Palo Alto, we have that being what I suggest is, being a network automation or network security engineer, you should learn all the 3 steps to automate Palo Alto firewall. So there are 3 steps, guys, to automate the Palo Alto firewall. First step is via XML, second is via JSON, and third is Python. So, but for Python, you should know what is XML and what is JSON as well. So I have included all the 3 types over here. And believe me, if you learn these 3 types, no one can stop you to automate your Palo Alto firewall. You can bring your own concept that how you can automate, and you can come up with that, and we will discuss that solution that we can automate or we cannot, right? So these are all the syllabus, guys. So let's move ahead with the live demo now. Okay, this is the slide. Let me jump to live demo. So guys, this is our what I can say, this is our lab, our live lab. So this lab has been created in VNG only. So there could be few questions that, will I get the access of that lab, how to create that lab, or like how we can practice that lab. So to be straightforward, I'm gonna tell you, if I give the access to this lab, that access will be limited to you guys. So being a network automation developer, what I would suggest, create your own lab. Whatever the images, whatever the things that, whatever the help that you need from me, we have a separate class for installation of EVNG lab in the setup, including configuration, that I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna provide you, right? And I'll also provide you the support, whichever it's needed to create your own lab. So that is the main thing, because it will be lifetime for you guys. Rather than giving the access to you, you can automate your own stuff on that. Now, simply, this is a topology, guys. These are switches that I have connected. Right now, for this automation, I have just turned on only these 2 switches. I have not playing with the Palo Alto and ASA and all right now. So we'll do that in the further session. We're gonna play with ASA firewall as well as the Palo Alto firewall as well. Now, let's jump towards our Palo Alto first thing, and then let's move towards our live lab. Okay, cool. Let's move ahead. Let's move ahead with the programming now. So guys, what is, as I told you in the lab, we have to use netmiko. So what is netmiko? It's a package. So what I'm going to write is, from netmiko import connect handler. I'll tell you what is that. Now, what this line says, guys, this line is saying that, let's consider you have netmiko package. You have netmiko package, or let's consider this is a netmiko file, simplest word. In the live class, I'm gonna explain what is package and modules. Now, this is a file. In this file, there is a container named as connect handler. Right? So in our code, what we are doing is, we are saying Python that from netmiko, I don't want entire file. Right? I just want only this container. The same thing that we are doing over here. From netmiko import connect handler. I just want this container only. So this container that we're gonna use now. That is the meaning of that line. Now, second thing is, give me a sec. I think I forgot to. Okay, cool. Now, second thing, I'm creating a variable. Let's say the name of that variable is Cisco device is equal to. Now, guys, what is the variable and all? It's a simply, you can say it's a box, right? Empty box where we can store the data. So we just need to write device type. Don't worry if you're not getting, we have a particular session for that. What is this? Why we are writing in a curly braces and all? Don't worry about it. Just have a look how we can automate our network equipment now. So here I'm giving a host right? It's a host IP, you can say. So here host IP. I have already set up that IP, guys. 192.168.1.22, let's say 221, which is my first switch. Now username is what? Username is, let's say I have already given username as my name, which is Dheeraj, and password is, I have set up the password. This is just a SSH thing, guys. I have set up the SSH username and password on my device. And finally, if you have a secret password, enable password, I mean to say, that is fine. You can give it as secret, which is Cisco only for me. Now, if you want to give the port, SSH port, that is also fine, which is 22. If it is not, then by default, Netmiko is Netmiko will gonna take the SSH port only. If you're not giving, that is also fine. Again, I'm considering one of the variable name as connection is equal to, connection is just a variable, it means just a box where we're gonna store. Now let's consider over this particular lines thing. Now what I wanted to tell you is, whatever data that we have written is a device data, right? Now we need to send this data to our device, that then and then we're gonna do the SSH to that device. So here I have created one connection object, or let's say you can say one connection variable. And here in the connection variable, I am calling my connect handler now, which is the container that I have already imported. What this container will do for me is it will help me to do the SSH to the device, right? So I am sending the data that I have written into the Cisco device to this container now. So while sending the data, I need to send the data into the unpacking format. What is unpacking format means? So guys, unpacking format means here I cannot send data like, let's say port. This is a dictionary format. I cannot send data like this. I need to send data like port is equal to 22 only. So why and how this conversation will gonna happen, that we're gonna see in our live lab. But just for example, I need to write star, sorry, my bad. Here I need to write in the connect handler, I need to write star, and what is the variable? Variable name is Cisco device, right? This is the first thing. Now, how do I know that I am in which mode? Let's say there are three modes we all know: enable mode, privilege mode, and global configuration mode. So how do I know that I am in which mode? So for that, in Netmiko, we already have a function named as prompt mode. So what I'll do, I'll just go to print, and here I'll gonna ask that whatever the connection object that I have. Now in the connection, I have entire connect handler stuff. It means the access of the device, right? The access of the device is now in connection variable. Now what I'll do is connection dot, I'll gonna ask what find prompt. Connection dot find prompt. It's a predefined method, guys. Don't worry about method and function right now. So it will gonna show me that whatever the mode that I am in, and simple thing, I'm creating one last object, or let's say variable name as output, and here I'll gonna use send command. So what is send command, guys? Send command is simply, the name says sending the command, right? Sending the command to the device. So what it will gonna do is it will gonna send whatever the command that you will gonna write over here. It will gonna send that command to your device irrespective of the mode, right? So that thing you need to keep in mind. Send command will work irrespective of the mode. So I'm gonna send that command. Let's say what command that you need to send. Let's say I need to send show IP interface brief, right? I want to send this command to my 221 device, and simply you can print that output. That's it. That's it of a code. Let's run the code. So before running the code, I told you the prerequisite of automating something is you need to check the connectivity. You need to check the connectivity of your device. So my device IP is 192.168.1.221. I hit ping, and see, I am getting the response. It means I can automate that device. So simply just hit right click, just hit run. So now in the backend, what it will do, it will connect to that device, and see, this is the output that I'll gonna get, right? If we go to that switch, guys. Let me open that switch in secure CRT for you. See, within a fraction of second, you're getting the output. And getting this, guys, SW1, this is the output of this line. Connection not find prompt. Now it will gonna find whatever prompt or whatever, whichever mode that you have of that switch. So see, this is in the enable mode, right? So this is what, and same thing, if you're gonna check on the switch, let me go to enable, and here if you hit show IP interface brief, I'll get the same thing. See, so this is the way that you can automate your network equipment. You can send any command. If you want to send show run, you can send show run as well, and you can bring, or you can copy the entire configuration into the text file, into the any of the file that you want. See, we are getting the configuration as well, guys, within a fraction of seconds. Here you want to use multiple devices as well, you can use it. This is just a demonstration, so I have just used only one device. You can use multiple devices as well. So that's it about our network automation demo. All about the thing is remaining only question and answers. So I believe that we're gonna take this now. So is there anyone here from network, from SIA, guys?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me unmute everyone so that they can unmute and ask. So guys, you can ask your questions. You can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Thank you, Mr. DP.
Hi, Dheeraj. I am Pawan. So actually, I have attended I was enrolled in the 5th December Python batch, but at that time I just unfortunately couldn't attend classes because Saturday, Sunday I was having office. So at that time I told Hemu and you that for the next Python batch, can I join in? And you said, okay, I can enroll in the next Python batch.
Yeah, sir. You can just ping on Monday. You can call Hemu, sir. We will help you on that part.
Okay,